Emperor Thor had ruled the Centauran Empire for 3 centuries, and in that time, he had learned that trust was a luxury reserved for fools. When his long-serving Terran maid, Maria, requested permission to bring her daughter to the palace while schools were closed, he agreed, but with conditions. He would test the young human, as he tested all who entered his inner sanctum. The emperor reclined on his rest platform, for arms folded across his chitinous chest, pretending to enter his meditation cycle. His compound eyes, though appearing dormant, tracked every movement through their specialized peripheral chambers. The child, Sophia, barely 10 solar cycles old, had been instructed to clean his personal study while he rested. Through the crystalline door, he watched her enter, small and uncertain. She wore a simple cleaning uniform her mother had modified to fit her tiny frame. Thor had seen assassination attempts disguised as innocence before. He had survived 14 coups, countless poisoning attempts, and one particularly memorable incident involving an explosive pastry. Sophia began dusting the shelves, standing on her toes to reach the lower artifacts. She moved carefully around his collection of conquest trophies: the Blade of Andromeda, the Quantum Crown of Praxis, the Bone Staff of the Void Priests, each item worth more than entire planetary systems. Then she paused. The Emperor's inner eyelids twitched. She had noticed the one thing he had deliberately placed in disarray: a holographic data cube containing military strategies, left partially visible beneath a stack of diplomatic documents. It was the perfect bait. Any spy would investigate. Any thief would pocket it. Any assassin would know it was their opportunity. Sophia stared at it for a long moment. Thor's 3 hearts beat in anticipation, his hand near the concealed weapon in his throne's armrest. The child reached out and gently pushed the cube back into its proper place, hidden from view. Then she did something that made the ancient emperor freeze entirely. She picked up the fallen framed photograph beside it, the only personal item on his desk. It showed his late mate and their offspring, lost in the plague of 73. The frame had been face down for weeks since he'd knocked it over in a moment of grief-fueled rage. He hadn't had the strength to right it himself. Sophia carefully wiped the dust from the glass with her cleaning cloth. She studied the image for a moment, her small human face thoughtful. Then, with deliberate gentleness, she placed it upright in the center of the desk where he could see it clearly. She adjusted it twice, making sure the angle was perfect. She noticed something else. His meditation shawl had slipped partially off the platform. Instead of leaving it, she walked over and carefully, so carefully, pulled it back up to cover him properly. Her small hand barely made contact, but there was a tenderness in the gesture that pierced through 3 centuries of imperial paranoia. "Sleep well, Your Majesty," she whispered, thinking he couldn't hear. "Mama says everyone needs rest, even emperors." Thor remained perfectly still as she finished cleaning and quietly left. Only when the door sealed did he allow himself to move. He rose and walked to his desk, staring at the photograph of his lost family, now visible for the first time in weeks. In 300 years, thousands had entered this room. Warriors, diplomats, scholars, spies. All had sought to take something: power, knowledge, his life itself. This human child, given the perfect opportunity, had instead given something back. She had returned what he thought was permanently lost: a reminder that kindness existed without agenda, that gentleness required no strategic purpose, and that sometimes the most powerful thing a person could do was simply care. The Emperor touched the frame with one claw, his mandibles trembling. Perhaps, he thought, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their legendary stubbornness or their tactical innovation. Perhaps it was simply this: an instinct toward compassion so fundamental that even their children wielded it without thinking. He would recommend Maria for promotion in the morning, and her daughter would always be welcome in his palace. Some tests, after all, taught the examiner more than the examined.